Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, thanks for checking me out. So what YouTube cooking channel would be complete without a classic fried chicken recipe? So that's exactly what I have for you guys today. It's crispy, golden brown, juicy, and the best part is that it's beginner friendly. So stay tuned for the recipe. Okay guys, so let's get started. So the first step is to find some regular sized drumsticks. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Not the colossal drumsticks that they sell everywhere. I mean, like regular size, like 1980s drumsticks are so hard to find now because they inject the meat with so many other additives that it's ridiculous. So I found some regular sized drumsticks. So I'm going to go ahead and get those seasoned up with some of my favorites. I'm using some Montreal steak seasoning. I really like that a lot. It's not just for steak. It's just, I don't know why they call it steak seasoning because it's just regular seasoning you would use in anything. But I like that a lot because the seasoning is very like coarsely ground. So it comes out a lot more in your cooking, like as far as the presentation, you can see the seasoning a lot more. So I'm using that. I'm using some garlic powder. I'm also going to use some Slap Your Mama, which is basically like a seasoned salt. So we're going to get those seasoned up. And I am going to kind of heavily season it. Well, what some people might think is heavily seasoned because I'm not seasoning my flour. So we'll get into that conversation a little bit later. But the last thing that I put it in is some Sazon seasoning. It's basically like, I like to call it like a seasoned like MSG. That's what it reminds me of. It gives your food a really good flavor. It gives it like a red color or a browning color, and I just really like it a lot. So we're going to season one side, and then we're going to flip these over and season the other side. I have these very kind of like tightly packed in because I had a lot of chicken to season. So we're going to flip those over and we're going to season the other side. Okay, so I know I said I would talk about it later, but I got a little time now. So let's just talk about seasoned flour. I am not opposed to seasoned flour. I think it's fine if you want to do that. But to me, I feel like it's a waste of seasoning. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I feel like I'm putting a lot of seasoning in the flour. And then maybe I put too much flour and stuff because I feel like I'm wasting a lot of seasoning and using a lot of seasoning trying to season the flour. I feel like if you just season your chicken enough, then you'll be fine. Like I've never bit into a piece of my fried chicken and was like, oh, I don't taste the seasoning on the flour. Like it mixes together. So I don't really understand the point of seasoning your chicken and your flour. But I mean, it's totally fine if you want to. But like I said, I just feel like if you season your chicken enough, you'll be fine. And not wasting a whole bunch of seasoning in the flour, which, like I said, a lot of times I throw like half the flour out. Not half, but I throw a lot of the flour out. Maybe I'm using too much flour or whatever. But so yeah, so I'm just finishing seasoning up the chicken. And it's going to be so delicious. Just wait, y'all. So I'm just throwing in a couple more drumsticks that I had off to the side that I was secretly seasoning. And now I'm just going to get those all mixed up. I mean, it's pretty much already all seasoned, but you know, with it being really tightly packed like that, there are some sides that didn't get enough seasoning. And, you know, I just want to make sure that the seasoning is on all parts of the chicken. So, yeah. So the next thing that we're going to do is build and form the crust for our fried chicken. because that's the most important part, right? I mean, that's the whole reason that we're eating fried chicken is for the crust, right? Let's just be honest. So I'm starting with some all-purpose flour, and then I'm going to add some cornstarch. Cornstarch is used to either thicken a sauce or to make things crispy. And you can see me trying to use some kind of measuring contraption that I have, and it just makes a mess. I don't usually use measuring things. I just eyeball it. So I'm adding flour and cornstarch, and I'm also going to add a little bit of baking powder. So I don't know, I think I randomly tried it because I think I saw it in like a secret KFC Popeyes chicken thing. And I tried it a couple times, and I found that it actually did make a difference using the baking powder. Baking powder, not baking soda. So now that we have all that mixed up, now we are going to form the crust. So you want to dip your chicken in the flour mixture, and you want to like press the mixture into the chicken so it can kind of like stick a little bit. So I would be remiss if I made a fried chicken video and didn't mention my grandmother. My grandmother, my gran, made the best fried chicken ever, and I'm still chasing that high. As much as I try to duplicate and as many different things that I try, I still can't get it exactly like hers. It's just something about it, you know. It kind of reminds me of my mother's dressing. Like, I can make good dressing, but it's not my mother's dressing. So, big shout out to Gran for making the best fried chicken ever. That became one of my favorite meals as a child. She always made fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and corn. And to this day, that's like one of my favorite meals. Like, you could give me crab legs, ribeye steak, filet mignon, whatever. But fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and corn will always be my favorite. So coming off of that sweet sentiment, you gotta forgive me. I mixed up the buttons when I was pressing record and when I was pressing stop. And I mixed it up and I did not hit record when I put the chicken into the fryer. So I apologize because that's like probably a major piece of the video. But you want to make sure that your oil is very hot. I am deep frying this chicken. You want to, if you use thermometers and stuff, you can set your thermometer to 375 degrees. That's where you want to put your chicken in. The temperature of the oil is going to drop once you put the chicken in because the chicken is at a cooler temperature, so it's going to bring down the temperature of your oil. So you may want to turn the heat up for a minute or two, and then once it comes up to temperature, then you want to drop it back down. Also, one thing I wanted to mention is that before you put your chicken into the fryer, whether it's before you season it or before you flour it or whatever process you're in, you don't want to take cold chicken like straight out the fridge, season it, flour it, and drop it right in the fryer. You want to let it come to room temperature. You will want to fry this chicken at like a medium high. Not really high, not too low, like just right, like Goldilocks. Because if you cook it too fast, it's going to brown on the outside and be raw on the inside. And if you cook it too slow, it's just going to get like soggy. So you want to make sure to cook it like at an even, medium temperature throughout the process. And look how golden brown it is. I'm taking it out, guys. Look, it's awesome. Normally, I will pan fry my chicken in a cast iron skillet, but for the video, I decided to deep fry it. And if you see a little bit of that red, like right there, that's just from that Sazon seasoning that I used. It's not blood, but anyway, blood doesn't even really come from meat when you cook it. It's something else. Google it. But look at this fried chicken. Look how crispy it is. Look how golden brown it is. It is just delicious looking. I mean, I'm at a loss for words on the chicken. It looks really good. So yeah, if you like how this chicken came out, please do try the recipe and let me know how it turns out. And then also let me know what you like to have with your fried chicken. Drop that in the comments. You like red beans and rice? Are you mashed potatoes and corn like me? Or what do you like? Thanks for checking out my video. Until next time.